Stop! Whatever you are doing right now, stop immediately. What I'm about to reveal is not for everyone who walks this path. It is specifically for you. Something happened on this morning of June 6th. You may not have words to describe the exact nature of that event, but you feel that the air around you has shifted. There is a spiritual urgency you have been carrying, and today it reaches its point of convergence. You realize it is no coincidence that this moment has found you. The portal has opened, and the date of June 6th is not just a marker on the calendar, but a cosmic signature you were guided to recognize. You have spent the last few months feeling that something was about to be unlocked. You felt the pressure, the waiting, the silence that seemed deafening. Until today, you did not have the key. But now the revelation stands before you. By the end of this transmission, you will understand the meaning of the 6 doors that have opened in this moment, and why the activation of your identity as a chosen one is not a casual invitation, but a necessary summons. You will understand why time seems to have accelerated, why your physical body has been reacting to these fluctuations, and how to navigate what happens between now and 23 hours and 6 minutes from today. You have been feeling an exhaustion that does not come from work, but from the soul. You have noticed that time, which used to seem linear, now folds back on itself. Sometimes hours pass like minutes, and other moments stretch into a silent eternity. This happens because your energy field is being recalibrated to a higher frequency, one that requires you to let go of the ordinary world's linearity. Your sensitivity has increased. Sounds, lights, conversations that used to be trivial now carry a weight or a hollowness you cannot ignore. You have felt out of place, not because something is wrong with you, but because you are finally tuning to the right station. If even one of these signs touched the center of your being, if your chest relaxed upon hearing these words, now is the moment to anchor that perception. Attention! You need to prepare yourself now. I have prepared material for those who doubt their own calling from God and still do not have confirmation. Are you one of the chosen? We'll give you that clarity. These are the 7 signs of the language of the calling, marks of God in the story of every chosen one, so you can reread your story and recognize the purpose sealed over you before the foundation of the world. Stop calling coincidence what is actually a calling. Stop silencing the sacred restlessness. Stop postponing the answer you feel. Your window is closing, and a chosen one who does not recognize the calling does not walk in purpose. More than 10,000 people have already read the 7 signs and received the conviction they had been seeking for years. They were just like you. They felt something no one understood. They lived in silent doubt, and they discovered it was real. And it had a name. The offer is open only this month. Access the link in the pinned comment now before doubt steals another year from your calling. The act of typing these 3 numbers is your conscious affirmation that you accept the frequency of overflow that is available to you now. It is not just a sequence, it is a code of alignment with the abundance that the portal of this specific date allows you to access. Type 888 and then immediately return to our conversation. Sit with that affirmation. What you have called exhaustion is actually a process of calibration. Think of a musical instrument being tuned. Before it hits the perfect note, it must be tightened, adjusted, and cleaned of any residue that hinders pure vibration. You are not draining because you are losing your strength. You are draining because you are being purified to hold a much greater weight of purpose than you previously carried. Most people around you live on the surface, chasing results that no longer belong to your new reality. You have been trying to force the usual doors, using the same keys you always have, but they no longer turn. That is not your failure. It is divine protection. The door you keep trying to open is one you have already walked through. You are trying to go back to a place that no longer exists on your spiritual map. The portal of June 6th serves to close those old pathways, so you stop wasting your vital energy trying to maintain structures that have already fulfilled their purpose. Your soul recognizes that the calibration is complete, and what remains now is detachment from the effort. You no longer need to push. You only need to position yourself for what is already available, watching as the flow of life begins to move toward you, without you having to exert the effort that was once required of you. What you feel as a gap or a void is actually the space needed for the new to enter, and this space is sacred, intentional, and absolutely yours. You have been operating under a premise of frantic seeking, as if your validity as a human being depends on how much you accomplish in a single day. You believe that if you stop, the gear that sustains your life will lock up, that the results you chase will vanish if you do not keep constant pressure on the pedal. Yet this relentless pursuit is what has prevented the alignment you so desire. You are running across an open field, trying to reach a horizon that recedes at the same speed you put into your steps, because you have not realized that what you seek is not ahead, but within. Stopping is not an omission, nor is it a sign of weakness or giving up. Stopping is the only possible movement for someone who wants to find the center. When you allow yourself to stop, you are not wasting time. You are finally letting time stop racing around you and begin to race in your favor. The frenzy of the search is a distraction designed to keep you from hearing the instruction whispered in the silence of your spirit. It is in the moment you release control that alignment becomes inevitable. You no longer need to fight the flow. You only need to let the flow carry you. Now imagine before you an ancient labyrinth built not of stone walls, but of frequencies of light. This is the labyrinth of the 6 doors, and you have spent your whole life trying to force entry into paths that were blocked for your own good. Each door represents a phase you have already lived, a role you have already played, a title you have carried that now weighs like rusted armor. You have been trying to get through the first door, your need for approval. You have been trying to get through the second, your fear of scarcity. You have been trying the third, your guilt over the past. You keep pounding against these structures, imagining that if you only hit harder, the passage will finally open. But the portal of this moment, June 6th, is not a door you open. It is a door that opens to you. The 6 passages are becoming transparent. You no longer have to force your shoulder against the cold wood of those memories and limitations. The labyrinth is not a place where you are trapped. It is a place where you are being prepared for recognition. Resting in the truth of the choice is the secret that few people can sustain, because the human ego prefers the suffering of struggle to the peace of worthiness. You did not choose this path by accident. You were chosen to cross, and your only task now is to let go of what you brought on the journey that no longer suits your new stature. If something deep inside you has just recognized the truth of this revelation, if the image of that labyrinth fit your perception in a way you cannot explain with logic alone, take a deep breath and let it settle into your consciousness. This is your seal of readiness. By typing these words, you are manifesting your agreement with what is being revealed. You are not asking for permission. You are declaring your presence in the moment when clarity finally meets your heart. Your spirit is answering a call that is far older than your daily concerns. Type "I am ready," and then immediately return to continue hearing what has been prepared for this transition. As you return to this space of listening, understand that returning to your essence is not a process of acquisition, but a process of removal. You do not need to learn to be what you already are. You only need to unlearn the layers of dust and the expectations of others that have covered your original light. Surrender is not a renunciation of life. It is a renunciation of the illusion that you are the sole architect of your destiny. There is an intelligence operating in your story that knows paths your mind cannot even map. When you surrender, you do not become passive. On the contrary, You become the unobstructed channel through which the power of a greater truth can finally manifest. It is like a river that, when it stops trying to carve artificial channels in dry ground, finds its natural bed and begins to flow with a force no human hand could imitate. You are returning to your bed. You are returning to your original voice. You are returning to the frequency of who you were designed to be before any of these doors were ever built. Surrender is the supreme act of spiritual intelligence. It is knowing that you are held by a support that does not fail, by a vision that does not darken, and by a promise that does not depend on external circumstances. What you are living now is not a crisis. It is an invitation to inhabit your own truth without needing defense or justification. You are free. If this message found a place of truth in you, if what was named here sounded like a confirmation of something your spirit has already whispered in the quietest hours of the night, let your interaction with this moment be a wordless amen. Not as a metric of importance, but as a silent gesture of agreement, a recognition that what was spoken here did not come from a human source, but was merely transmitted. Every gesture of recognition is an invisible thread that connects us in this web of global alignment. By leaving this mark of Amen, you are signaling to your own being that the frequency established here is real, valid, and present. Feel that connection. Feel that by letting go of the need to be seen by the world, you are finally being seen by the one who truly matters. Let that wordless amen be the seal of your acceptance, your surrender, and your readiness to cross what opens now, without fear, without hurry, and with the absolute certainty that you are not walking alone on this journey back to your inner home. You are in a constant process of transmutation, and every word here is a foundation that firms beneath your feet as the old ground dissolves behind you. There is someone in your life who needs this exact message right now. Someone who, like you, has carried the weight of a waiting that seems endless, remaining silent while others celebrate achievements that do not have the substance of what is being prepared for you both. Perhaps it is someone who has been working with quiet dedication, moving through the shadows of deep exhaustion, wondering if the effort is seen by any higher instance. That person whose face appeared in your mind as I spoke, someone who carries a nobility no one seems to notice, someone who possesses the stillness of one who knows the time is drawing near but has not yet found the words to explain the inner shift they feel. Send this message to that person. Hand over this recognition as if passing a torch, knowing that by an appointment that transcends coincidence, this message was entrusted to you so it could be redirected to someone who, deep in their soul, already knows the promise of the 6 doors, but only needed to hear someone name the truth they carry in their chest. It is an act of care, a ministry of recognition that strengthens the lineage of those who, in this season, are being awakened to their true nature. Before this moment of our communion reaches its peak, before the frequencies stabilize at the new level we have attained, I need you to make a commitment, not to me, but to your own story. Do not do it as a request for validation, nor as a vague hope that things will get better. Do it as a confirmation, a definitive seal placed over your identity. The agreement that has formed silently between the truth and your spirit throughout these words is a contract you will begin to live from the instant your fingers touch these letters. Type it slowly, with the awareness that each letter is an affirmation of authority. Let your hands make the physical movement your spirit has already accomplished in the invisible realms. By typing that phrase, you are declaring that you accept the mantle, that you recognize the opening of the 6 doors, and that you understand that what was, until now, an anxious search has become a walk of sovereignty. This is the seal that separates who you were from who you now inhabit. You are committed, you are commissioned, you are sent. You are committed to the truth that now pulses at your center, the truth that no longer admits the distractions that kept you captive for so long. You are commissioned to act in this new season as one who does not seek external permission, but moves under the direction of the intelligence that shaped you. You are sent into your own life with the clarity of one who finally understands that time is not against you, but for you. Aligned with the movement of the 6 doors that now swing wide open before your eyes. Right now, all across the world, others are receiving this same recognition tonight. You are part of something that does not announce itself, and that is exactly why it is real. Thousands of others, at this very moment, are stopping what they are doing to feel this same call, to recognize this same frequency of alignment we are cultivating. You are not alone in your sensitivity. You are not isolated in your perception that something greater is happening. This web of alignment is the living proof that the portal is not only individual, it is a collective opening, a shift of state we are living in unison, without needing grand announcements or artificial lights. The waiting period, the one that seemed like an endless desert, now reveals its true nature. You were not stalled by inertia. You were being prepared by an invisible pressure that, on June 6th, reaches the saturation point. Feel that shift. It is not anxiety, it is a pulse. The opening of the 6 doors is not an external event you observe from afar. It is a transition that happens through you, as if your own being were the threshold through which the new reality chooses to pass. Many try to explain the acceleration of the last few months with trivial justifications, attributing exhaustion to external factors, work cycles, or accumulated wear. But you feel, in the stillness of your night, that this fatigue is actually the resistance of what must be left behind in the face of the speed of what is coming. If you have felt this vibration, a frequency that seems to buzz at the top of your head, or a deep quiet that arises right after a moment of confusion, know that this is your alignment frequency being tuned. If up to now you have recognized that your own biology seems to be responding to a call no one else in the room can hear, or if the signs you found in unexpected places have begun to form a pattern that leaves no room for doubt, I need you to make that commitment. The number 888 is the key to your overflow frequency, the code that acknowledges that what you have accumulated as pain is about to be converted into provision. Do this and come immediately back to me. What happens now is a process of decanting. Imagine that your entire history, with its frustrations and its seemingly silent victories, is a vessel that was being filled with murky water. The 6 doors that open on this day, June 6th, act as a filter. The murky water does not become clear by your effort to clean it, but because the source from which you now drink has changed. The pressure you felt was the effort to keep the vessel intact while the liquid was being swapped. Many times, your mind insisted on interpreting your life through the lens of lack. You looked around and saw people building paths that seemed clearer, while you felt you were building in the dark. But understand the revelation that emerges from this date. You were not building a path, you were being sculpted to become the path itself. That labyrinth, where each of the 6 doors represents an aspect of your life, your voice, your listening, your ability to create, your way of loving, your authority, and your stillness, is being crossed by you without effort. You do not need to push the doors. You only need to walk. With every step, what once seemed like a barrier, a concrete wall that kept you from moving forward, dissolves into light. If what I have just described, that image of the labyrinth transforming into passage, touched the exact place where your doubt used to rest, do not let that perception slip away. Recognition needs a seal. Let these words anchor the clarity that has just descended upon your understanding. It is a simple gesture, but it is your permission for what is sealed inside you not to scatter with the noise of everyday life. Type, confirm, and return here, because the journey now crosses the 4th layer. At this depth, the game changes. What you call destiny or even luck reveals itself as an architecture of intention. You were chosen for this moment, not because you qualified through conventional merits, but because your sensitivity was kept pure amidst the chaos. Your role now is not that of an executor who must plan every move, but of a host who makes space for what is already ready to happen. Surrender, which you so feared, is actually your greatest weapon. While the world despairs to control outcomes, you have learned in the pain of silence that control is the illusion that separates the chosen one from their mission. Let your like here be your wordless amen, a silent movement that seals the agreement that you have understood that surrender is not defeat. It is yielding to the flow that finally favors you. There are no metrics here, only the acknowledgement that our tuning is aligned. Look to the side, or rather look inside yourself and see who appears. That someone who, in recent days, has been tired, but in a noble way. Someone carrying a question they are afraid to ask out loud. Someone who seems to be in a dead end, though you know that if that person could see what you see now, they would feel the relief you are feeling. That face that just arose is someone who needs to be reached. Hand over this message, not as a suggestion, but as a service. You are the bearer of this key for someone who forgot where they placed their own exit door. What we are doing here is not some casual conversation. It is a recognition of sovereignty. Every single point we have discussed about these 6 doors is a reminder that your identity was forged in fire and that now it is ready to be revealed. There is no more room for the shyness of someone who does not know who they are. Your story, with all its scars and all its moments of silence, is your inheritance. That is what you carry through the final stage of this portal. From now on, what you declare becomes your reality, not because you have the power to change things, but because you have finally understood that things have already been changed, and you are merely the first one to arrive there to inhabit the new space. Every breath you take from here forward must be the breath of someone who is no longer asking, but giving thanks for what is already present, even if it has not yet fully materialized before your physical eyes. Sovereignty is a state of mind that precedes the evidence. You are the evidence. There is a subtle movement happening now, a quiet reorganization behind the scenes of your existence that no longer depends on your willpower. You spent years trying to push enormous boulders uphill, believing that your ascent depended entirely on the sweat of your brow and the hardness of your hands. But the truth being revealed at the portal of June 6th is that you were building on ground that was not yours. The exhaustion you feel is not a symptom of failure. It is proof that you have finally stopped walking in the wrong direction. When you let go of the weight, the path reveals itself on its own. The 6 doors that now open are not entrances to a new maze, but exit paths from the arena where you felt trapped. Each door corresponds to a layer of your identity that you set aside to fit into others' expectations. One is the door of your original voice, another is the door of your repressed intuition, and the third is the door of your ability to thrive without guilt. As you cross these thresholds, you are not leaving something behind. You are reclaiming fragments of who you were always meant to be from the very beginning. The acceleration of time you perceive is merely the reflection of your alignment with a higher frequency. What once took years to unfold now manifests in days because you have stopped resisting the flow. The portal demands a single condition: that you stop looking back to see who is following you. Your mission does not require anyone's validation, only your clarity of purpose. You are the conscious observer of a transition that has already been decreed in the invisible plane. Do not try to understand the mechanism, just inhabit the result. You are the seed that has finally broken through the shell and now simply needs to grow toward the light you yourself have begun to radiate. The journey has changed its nature, shifting from a struggle for survival to an exercise of constant revelation, where each new day is an invitation to inhabit a version of yourself that no longer recognizes fear as a legitimate advisor. You are taking your rightful place in the tapestry. There is no longer any need to seek outside what is already rooted in your own essence. The peace you feel now, though it may seem strange or even undeserved, is your new constant. Hold on to that stillness as the doors continue to open, one by one, revealing the fields you were called to cultivate. Before we move forward, type the phrase, "I am the chosen one," in the field below, not as a plea, but as the final signature of the agreement we have made today. Let these words lay the foundation upon which you will walk for the months ahead. You are the embodiment of this transition. The portal is open and your path is clear. You are commissioned, you are sustained, you are sent. All over the world at this very moment, others like you are awakening to the same silent truth. You do not walk alone on this crossing. It is sealed. Attention! You need to prepare yourself now. I have prepared material for those who doubt their own calling from God and still do not have confirmation. Are you one of the chosen? We'll give you that clarity. These are the 7 signs of the language of the calling, marks of God in the story of every chosen one, so you can reread your story and recognize the purpose sealed over you before the foundation of the world. Stop calling coincidence what is actually a calling. Stop silencing the sacred restlessness. Stop postponing the answer you feel. Your window is closing, and a chosen one who does not recognize the calling does not walk in purpose. More than 10,000 people have already read the 7 signs and received the conviction they had been seeking for years. They were just like you. They felt something no one understood. They lived in silent doubt, and they discovered it was real. And it had a name. The offer is open only this month. Access the link in the pinned comment now, before doubt steals another year from your calling.